I standing here in the middle of a frozen lake somewhere northwest of Montreal? It's because of this, the 2014 Buick Regal GS, which for the first time has all-wheel drive. I'm out here for 2 days. I've already done some on-road, come onto the ice here. Tomorrow I'm going to be driving it on an ice track to see exactly what this car can do. It's going to be a little bit of performance, a little bit of safety, a little bit of luxury, everything that GM has put together in it. But the big question I'm going to be trying to answer is, where does this car fit into the marketplace? It's a tough niche, it's got some tough competition. Is General Motors up to the task? We've had just about everything on this trip. We've had snow, we've had ice, now we're looking at pouring rain. And the Buick has handled all of it pretty well, thanks to a couple of things. First of all, this all-wheel drive system, which really is good, and the fact that we have good winter tires on. We have a set of Pirellis. So between those two, we can get through just about anything here. The all-wheel drive system on this is used on a few brands, Cadillac and Opel as well, but this one's calibrated specifically for this Buick. What makes the all-wheel drive system really good on this is it's proactive. It doesn't actually need to feel the tires slipping before it starts to dig in. You've got power to all wheels all the time, depends on what you're doing. If you're taking off, 50-50, equal to the front and back. When you're on the highway cruising like I am right now, it's primarily front-wheel drive biased, but it can send 90% of torque to the front or the rear. And so that's what gets you through the snow, the slush, or when you've got the twisting roads and you want to have a little bit of fun, it'll take you around the corners. Under the hood, there's a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, making 259 horsepower, 295 foot-pounds of torque. Mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission. You can get a manual in the GS in the front-wheel drive, but not in this one. Fuel economy, 10.9 in the city, 7.3 on the highway. Buick recommends premium fuel for maximum performance, but it will take 87 octane regular grade. I like how this car handles and drives. It's got a good steering feel to it and it feels nice and nimble, but we got a couple of buttons if you want to have a little bit more fun with it. There's a sport button, which tightens it up a bit, improves the throttle response. Then you got a GS button, tightens up the steering. We've got more weight to it, tightens the suspension up a little bit, really makes this car a lot more fun. There's a lot to like on this car. The interior is handsome. I like the steering wheel, the seats are comfortable, but there are a few things on my hit list. Number one, I don't like how I control the temperature and my heated seat. I have to touch a glass screen. It's not like a button where I know exactly where to touch without looking, and these sometimes don't work all that well when it's cold out. Every time I push it, I have to look down, take my eyes off the road to see where the control is. And another thing, the GS starts at $42,900. This particular one is optioned to $51,000, and I'm not really seeing the money here. It's nice, I'm not seeing 50 grand nice. And where that's really going to be a problem for Buick is when shoppers go into other showrooms and they're looking at things like Audi, BMW, Lexus, and they're saying 50 grand for a Buick? I'm not really sure that GM is going to get a lot of those customers. Moving to the exterior, this is a good-looking car, and I absolutely love the look of these headlights. But Buick, you gotta lose the portholes. I know they've been a signature styling cue since the 1940s, but now they just look silly. Moving to the back, I'm not so sure about this deflector underneath the fascia. The first person that backs in against a curb is gonna break that off. And we've got Brembo brakes, and they're great for stopping, but this is a Buick. That's not really the demographic that's going to replace these things once they wear out, because they are expensive. I think the only Brembos you're going to see on these are on the new ones, and after that, people are going to put on cheaper aftermarket ones. Buick is showcasing the top-of-the-line performance GS on this particular launch, but the all-wheel drive is new for 2014 on all of the Buick Regal Turbo models, and they start at $35,000 with the all-wheel drive. I like this Buick's on-road manners, and on the road is where we've been for the last little while. Now we're on our way to the iCar facility near Montreal, where we're going to see how this handles ice and snow on a track. not going to see any Buick drivers really out here on the ice, but we've been through some of the slaloms, we've been through a skid pad, we've had it on the track, and I have to say, I'm very impressed with the way this Buick is handling the snow and the ice on this surface. We have to give some credit to the tires. Actually, we have to give a lot of credit to the tires. But at the same time, the all-wheel drive system on this and the traction control and the stability control are working very well. This car is going to get you through a winter. Buick's buyers are traditionally the oldest in the segment, and that could be an issue for this car. You're looking at buyers who are very loyal, but they're not necessarily into performance. And the younger buyers who are looking at things like Audi, BMW, Acura, maybe even Lexus, this isn't really a brand that they've been all that loyal to over the years. So with this car, it's a great car to drive. The all-wheel drive system is fantastic. The interior's nice. It's a good-looking car. But Buick's main problem might just be its image.